Earlier this week, I went looking into the Razorfist drama that was popping off, because if there's one thing I know to be true in this life is that Razorfist is a very sensitive boy, and I like to troll him on Twitter. And one of the gaming channels I had recently been introduced to happened to have covered what was going on here. Not just the Razorfist drama, but the whole Goonergate situation. That channel would be Smash JT. Now, I don't know about you, but this guy bears a striking resemblance to the guy that was crying over the Star Wars reveal trailer, if you remember that. Only about 20 years older and a little bit more kosher. But regardless, I watched these videos, and I immediately noticed two things began to happen. One, the estrogen levels in my body began to rise as a direct result of consuming his videos. But the second thing that happened would be me noticing that the arguments that he presents to the viewer are flawed, and I would go so far as to call it well poisoning.
But when you start pushing that as the moral arbiter of truth and telling people how they should think, how they should act, and what the game should and shouldn't have in them based off of your ideologies, you're no better than the other side.
This notion that you have to be better than your enemies is a moral argument. It's an attempt to dictate how people should act and what they should do and what they're allowed to do. In essence, boiled down to its very core, it means that your values and your ethics won't permit you to stoop to the level of your opponent. So if they're playing dirty, you're expected to play clean. This is not a rational decision that any normal person would come to. This is what an ideologue would think. But Smash JT isn't an ideologue. He's just trying to make gaming a better place, am I right?
And while I'm not somebody that's ever going to tell people how they should act and what they should believe in and what they do believe in is wrong or right,
an ideologue wouldn't say that, Carl. He's never going to push his values onto people. He's never going to tell you how to behave. He's never going to tell you what you should do.
I'm just saying that we should support developers' ability to create what they want and let the market decide. Let the gamers purchase the games they want and let the open market, the freedom of choice, take precedent in all of this.
Of course, the open market. Guys, I would never ever push my political ideology onto you, but have you ever heard about how heckin' awesome the open market is? You should come to my next libertarian meeting and really find out more. Now, I'm not saying this really to even be against the idea of an open market, right? I'm saying this because it is inherently a political stance to take. It is an ideological stance to take, and you literally just got done just a few minutes ago telling us how you are different from these people you're criticizing because you don't preach ideology to people. You're just trying to keep politics out of gaming. And how do we keep politics out of gaming? Well, the first step is we have to become libertarians.
What you're trying to do here is you're trying to take control of the direction the game industry should go, and all I'm saying is take your hands off the wheel and let the game industry drive itself. That's where the best games always come from. Because what it comes down to in a free and open market is buying the best games that fit what you want to play.
Well, I mean, that's been going well, right? It's not like we just experienced the most woke year in gaming to ever exist, and it looks like 2025 is going to be no better. So this strategy that you're proposing definitely seems to be panning out well for us. I know it's panned out well for people in the past. It's not like woke leftism is controlling every form of media from books, newspapers, radio, television, and movies, and that this is not inevitably what will become of gaming as well, since this strategy is the one that got us here in the fucking first place. And according to JT, we just need to stick with it a little bit longer, and gaming won't end up like all of the other mediums that have come before it. And advocating for any other approach would be you trying to take the wheel. This is the reason why we're playing the same Call of Duty 20 years later. Why EA is somehow allowed to be the 6th largest video game company in the world, alongside other woke slop dealers.
Let the community decide what they want to purchase based off the ratings and what the games have. Stop trying to place your morals and ethics on what games are being made so that you can control how the game industry moves forward. Why do you care? Why are you trying to police what people are interested in buying and playing? I find that, yes, of course, Dread Roberts is just like everyone else falling into this religious zealot category that push their ideologies on people to make them feel the way they do.
It's not like you would ever do that, right? It's not like your YouTube channel is entirely dedicated to telling people what games they should buy, and then your website is dedicated to telling people who they should watch. I mean, then you would be trying to control what the game industry does. You'd be trying to manipulate it and dictate how the industry should move forward. No, you're just trying to educate people on what games they should buy, right? Am I right? Wink, wink. Why not just put re-educate there? Why not? Is this an optics thing, or is this you just being too stupid to realize what you're doing, or you think that people are too stupid to notice it?
Also have the topic of too many games that are too samey, and then people start getting sick of that. So naturally, the game industry will course correct.
The point being, though, if the free market really did the things that you are saying it does, you wouldn't need to organize boycotts. You wouldn't need to have 100 different people covering what games that they should and shouldn't buy. Your channel wouldn't be doing what it's doing now. The market would have adapted when it was very abundantly clear that what they were pushing, this ideology, the woke ideology, didn't correspond with popular opinion. It didn't correspond with what people wanted. And the co-opting of every single form of media and entertainment would never have happened.
Now that we're winning the cultural war against censorship, another faction emerges: religion, seeking to replace one form of control with another.
Oh, Christians, they're emerging from out of nowhere. It's not like they've been doing this, calling for censorship, that is, since, the Dark Ages, and even with specifically video games in the early 2000s and 1990s, they were calling for it, and they got blown the fuck out. So don't try to, act like this is a victory. They were never a threat to begin with. And as for we're winning, sure, there have been victories, but the future of gaming still looks like it's going to be riddled with left-wing propaganda for a few more years to come, at the very least.
The most ironic and troubling part of this debacle is how it mirrors the exact tactics that ideological factions that gamers have spent years fighting against continue to use.
Yeah, let's move on to the tactics, right? Let's move on to that. Now, before I get into the weeds here, let me just first state, I don't like Razor Fist. I don't even know who Melanie Mac is. I'm not religious. But what you're doing to him, or what you did to him, is literally what left-wingers do. You're bringing up posts from over 14 years ago in an attempt to shame, mock, ridicule, and basically cancel your opposition, people who you view as not on your side.
Taking the approach that they're holier than thou, when in reality, they have a lot of skeletons hidden in their closet.
And I'm not here to say that you can't do that, but that is what you're doing. So for you to get up on your moral high horse and wag your finger and tell people that they're no better than them because they're using the same tactics that the enemies are using, while you literally use those exact same tactics that people on Twitter just a few years ago were implementing to cancel a ton of people. It's laughable. Why don't you just say that Razorfist deserved it? If the allegations are true, then the guy should be in jail. And in case you don't know, Razorfist is being accused of dating a 15-year-old while he was 32. But instead, you latch on to a little domestic dispute, probably one of the most tame domestic disputes that I've ever seen. And you blow it out of proportion like it's this big fucking fight that they're having, like they're getting physical with each other.
And what transpires in this video, it's not for the faint of heart.
Okay, then you need to go.
Well, how did you come to that conclusion? That doesn't even make any sense.
Because I am telling you, I don't want you to work that job.
Well, too fucking bad. I have the job and I'm not going to quit.
Then fuck you. Out.
I don't know about you guys, but that is very tame, in my opinion. And this guy is acting like he just witnessed like a beating happen in real time. Like they're shouting at the top of their lungs at each other. And then he goes on to call it abuse and pretty much parrot everything that Kino Casino said. I hate to break it to you, buddy, but they're overplaying it for entertainment value. Do you genuinely think that the hosts of this show would be snickering and giggling to each other, cracking jokes, while they watched a woman get abused?
To go to sleep. I am tired. And that's how it's going to go down. Stare me down.
He doesn't want her to have a job, to make money, to be able to support herself and not be out on the streets, so that he can trap her in his house.
All you want. It's not going to work.
What? What is going to work?
Staring me down and being verbally abusive.
What
That's
isn't gonna
not
work?
going to work. It's not going to. Do you want me out tomorrow?
No!
I'm out.
No!
I thought
you
that
don't
was
say how it
Andy that said no. That was Razorfist that said no. Whoa, buddy.
Whoa, buddy! You must think really poorly of Andy and PPP. I mean, this woman is being abused, and you're laughing. Or is it that you might have been tricked into jumping on a bandwagon and exposing yourself as a total hypocrite or a total idiot?
So I rewind the video and I say, whoa, hold on a second. Did he just like shout at her no like that, scream at her, and make her feel and belittle her, make her feel like she's a nobody in this planet?
Yeah, that's about what I took from that video, too. Does this guy genuinely think that you can't get into a disagreement with your spouse, in your relationship, that you can't raise your voice to somebody during an argument? There's no way, unless he doesn't wear the pants in his relationship. That could be very well what's happening. Yes, honey. Yes, right away, honey. I'll do anything for you, honey. And keep in mind, Razor doesn't know that he's being recorded right now. Okay, so it should be a lot worse. I'm thinking 20 decibel points higher for it to be concerning. All right, so I've shown you the examples. Smash JT goes around wagging his finger, acting holier than thou, accusing people of doing the very thing that he's doing. You're no better than them, right? You're no better than them. When he, in fact, is literally no better than them. And I have to ask, this brings up the question, is he just stupid, or is this intentional? Because if this is intentional, it's an easy fix, right? Just come out and say that doing this to your enemies is good, it's a proven tactic that works, and it's okay to put your morals aside in the name of winning, at least to a certain extent, right? But if you insist that you need to use the 10-ounce gloves while your opponent uses brass knuckles, you're going to lose. All you gotta say is you're leveling the playing field. That's it. Because at the end of the day, you're fighting literally every mainstream institution in your anti-woke crusade. But you can't keep lying to people. You're telling people that this isn't about politics when it is. You're telling people that you're not preaching your values while you are. You're telling people that you're morally superior to anyone that opposes you, and condemning people for using the tactics that you are employing. The reality is, you got into a disagreement with people on Twitter, and the moment something bad came out about them, you ran to YouTube to expose them to your fans, because it would help paint them as irrational ideologues, which is exactly what you are.
That's so weird. That's what the other side does.